So I'm a huge fan of Until Dawn. It kickstarted my interest in horror games and horror as a genre in general. I am a very scared person, so I don't play the games and I very rarely watch horror movies myself, but I love analysis videos and I love watching playthroughs. And Until Dawn was a huge playthrough game. So I have watched so many, and every time I find a new one from a YouTuber I like, I watch it again. I'm currently watching Markiplier's, which came out when the game came out, but apparently I didn't watch it then, or YouTube forgot that I watched it, or I watched it on whatever. It doesn't matter. Point is, I love Until Dawn, and I've watched it so many times. I've watched analysis videos of it. And one thing that I don't remember really being discussed in analysis videos, and if I'm wrong, like send me the analysis videos that do it, but they don't really talk about pranks as a theme of the game as much, right? Like they talk about mental illness and grief and greed and all that stuff like that, but they don't really discuss pranks. But a prank is what starts the whole thing off, like it's just a prank hand, which we all fucking love or hate or whatever from Emily, but it goes beyond that. Like spoilers for a fucking almost decade old game, but Josh's whole plan he considers to be a prank. He knows it is a next level prank. Like, obviously, he's putting all this time and money and resources into setting up this prank, but he genuinely seems to believe that this is ultimately socially acceptable, I guess. Like, he is going to put it on the internet and it is not going to cause any problems, and he is encouraging bonding between his friends, and maybe they'll bond later, and maybe this is how he will have his, like, now they will be even for what happened to Hannah and Beth. Maybe not even, but like the end goal isn't to divide the group, right? It's to bring them together in different and wrong ways, but that's Josh's goal. But it's more than just that. Like, Josh gets that thesis reinforced throughout the beginning of the game, because pranks are what Until Dawn uses to teach you jump scares. This is going to be a jump scare heavy game. Look at all these pranks people are playing on each other. This is going to be you'll have to make choices to play a prank or not. And look, if you played a prank, maybe the person liked it, maybe they didn't. And then the quick time events, like you have to run away. Oh, it ended up being a prank that you were running away from. And it's not just a few characters. Like, Matt does it to Ashley, and you have the option of Sam doing it to Josh, and then Chris does it to Sam and Josh, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I think the only one who doesn't prank anyone is Emily, which is kind of funny, but it's just such a thesis of the first part of the game that's hidden under getting you used to how the game works and what kind of game it's going to be. And yeah, you see Josh approve of the prank that Chris pulled and that Sam potentially pulled. And it's easy to tie that into as like, oh yeah, because that's what he's doing. It's not discussed. Like, I don't know what the game is saying about pranks necessarily, because Josh does like some of them. Ashley doesn't terribly mind the prank that Matt pulled. The one that Jessica pulled on Mike was fine, but then when Mike did it back to Jess, it had such dire consequences, and you were set up for that, because it was immediately after the prank that Jess pulled, is you can pull one on her, and if you do, it's not good. You have bad consequences for that. Not, earth-shattering, no one dies because of it, but it's negative. And I think that is the last prank that gets pulled, or that can be pulled, is ending on the, now you have gone too far, now this person is soaking wet in the fucking cold, and this is bad. You did a bad thing. Like, she potentially lost her phone from that, right? But I don't know. Again, I don't know if there's an end result that they have to say about pranks other than just exploring it in the different types of pranks and what people consider pranks that you would just consider cruelty, and how that can be viewed so differently. And I think that has something to do with the time that it was in, because this game came out in 2015, and I can't remember my culture's zeitgeist, like if that was the height or near the height of like YouTube prank videos, where stuff that used to just be a home recorded video, like you have to have like a physical camera for, and maybe you would send it in to a TV show that might get played, funniest home videos. And so people might see it there, and, obviously it wasn't all prank videos, but, people's reactions to things being caught candid on camera was a big part of that. And then that just got exploited to reality TV, and then suddenly everyone had phones on their camera. Everyone had a website. They could upload videos for free and potentially make money off of it. And so pranking kind of exploded from there, and I don't think it's still at the height that it was back in the early mid 2010s, but I wonder if it was at or near that height whenever Until Dawn was being made and coming out, because I think that has a lot to do with it, because Josh is recording everything to post on the internet to get views, to get money. That's not the end goal. That's a nice bonus, but he wants to go viral. I don't think the money is as big of a deal because his parents are, fucking loaded, which we can see by the fact that he was able to pull that elaborate prank together. But I think that it is, whether it intended to be or not, a commentary on, the cruelty of a prank is dependent on perspective. And personally, I hate pranks. I've always been a very gullible person, and people have always made fun of me for that. Yeah, I was very much a gullibles written on the ceiling sort of person. And, so I hate pranks, but I'm not trying to put my view of hating pranks onto what the video game is saying, because, like, again, it is considered social bonding most of the time it's done, but then there are these extreme exceptions. Well, varying levels of extreme. I would say getting wet versus dying are two different like levels of extreme, or being traumatized. But I don't know. I don't hear pranks being talked about as much. I would love for someone who knows more about internet culture and prank culture to have something to say about it. Maybe someone who's not on, just their phone in their hand, which is why it gets shaky. And I did it on purpose because I'm terrible at making videos, but I did a whole thread on Blue Sky, and I'm like, I still want to actually talk about it out loud. If only I could be a video essayist. And I'm like, well, I sort of can with this rambly video. I don't know. I love Until Dawn, and every time I watch a playthrough or an analysis video, I just appreciate it more. There's just more to love about Until Dawn, and it's wild that this game seems so shallow on the surface, but has so many layers to it. Like, because there are just so many ways to analyze it. Like what I'm saying now, what I said about the mental illness, and like, just horror movie tropes. Like, you could just analyze it from the perspective of like what horror tropes they're pulling from. It also makes sense that Cabin in the Woods was one of the first horror movies I watched and really, really enjoyed, because it's the same sort of shtick. You'd think that I need to go back and actually watch the movies that they are paying homage? You know what? Why'd I try to say that word when I don't know how to pronounce it? I know how to spell it. But, that they're obviously, like, writing a love letter to through, the movie and then this game. But, yeah, that's just it. Pranks. And how Josh is playing a prank, but they all play pranks. That's just their social bonding, is playing pranks. And obviously it gets dropped whenever things start getting very serious, but it's interesting. Or I think it's interesting. I don't know how to sign off on these because I don't really do these. But yeah, let me know if you have any more Until Dawn thoughts, or if someone has done a video about pranks in Until Dawn. I would love to watch it.